And hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the show. So glad that you are here. It's Monday, y'all, and it is a new month, right? It's Monday. It's a new month. Hopefully you had a great weekend and had a great day. Now, fear is a driving force. It is a hindrance. It is something that we don't understand. There are people out there right now who are stuck in places. They're stuck in their lives. They're stuck in a job. They're stuck in a relationship. They're stuck because of fear. That's what we're going to be talking about tonight. We're going to be talking about fear, right? Breaking fear and going on to live that life that you have always wanted. If you're new to me, I'm Dr. Dwayne Wood. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here on the channel, I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health, your life, avoid complications, go to the next level, and live the life you've always wanted. If you're new to me, go ahead and put new in the comments because we'd love to give you a hand clap. And give you some music to say, hey, welcome to the community. As we go through the night, if you have questions, put those questions in the comments because we will get to those and want to make sure that we answer those for you as we go through the evening. I want to make sure that you know that we've got a bunch of videos that we've done over on our channel. And let me get over there. I think I'm playing my thing on my phone. I'm playing the did not need to play. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so let me hit that button and see if we can get over to our YouTube channel. But several videos that we've done over there on there are videos. Obviously, this is the one that we are doing right now, breaking fear. But we did videos on diabetes. We did videos on changing your mind, on building a new you, becoming a better version of yourself. We did videos, of course, on diabetes, on thyroid. We did videos on health, on exercise, on food, on protein, how the body uses food, on depression, on coming up with routines, morning routines, daily routines, coming up with mantras. So just a lot of information that we have out there. So make sure that you get over and you do take a look at those because I think you would benefit from all of those. You'll see there at the top, let me get back to the top there, that we are 998, y'all, 998 coming up with mantras. Oops. So just a lot of information that we have out. There you go. 998 is what we are at right now. And we're almost 1,000, If you got some family, some friends, get them over, get them to subscribe, get them to like. If you're enjoying what we're doing here on the channel, we want to make sure that you are getting benefit and that we're providing things that you need. Just a couple of shout outs that I want to do. And let me come back to my main screen here. Just some shout outs that I want to make sure that I do. And these were people who on several of our platforms, several of our platforms who were out there and who were subscribing and who were being a part of our community. So we just wanted to say hello to them. So Stephen Eric, who's over on Instagram. Hey, Stephen, thank you for being engaged with our content. May Rita, thank you so much for that. Jake Fagan, Charmaine Wood MD, that's my beautiful wife. Thank you for commenting and being a part of our online community. So thank you all very much for all of those. And let's hop into what we're going to be talking about tonight. So when I was in medical school, I had some challenges getting through medical school. And when I got to residency, the volume of stuff that we had to learn, the volume, just the amount of things that we had to learn in med school was huge. And then when I got to residency, oh my goodness, right? Because all of a sudden, yesterday I was a doctor, a student, right? I was a student, and then I got my MD, so I'm a doctor, and then I think it was a month and a half later, I'm sitting in the hospital, and I'm responsible for the lives of the people that are in the hospital. What an awesome and a tremendous responsibility. But y'all, I'm gonna tell you, I was scared. Oh yes. I remember my pager went off. My pager went off. And we had been waiting all day, right? Because I was on call at the VA. I was waiting all day because, a lot of people were at the hospital. And gradually, as the day went on and it came to evening, of course, all those people went home. And now it's the people who are on call. So my call team is left at the hospital. And all day the pager didn't go off. But wouldn't you know it, just at the time when everybody goes home, my pager, beep, 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 beep. And I went to the phone. Hi, this is Dr. Wood. Hey, Dr. Wood, we've got a patient up that we need you to come take a look at. And they told me what was going on with the patient. And so I'm going up and my heart, do, right? Because this is the first time as a resident, because I've had calls before as a student, and I've had call, So now as a resident, I'm getting that call. So go up, and they say this guy's having chest pain, and I'm going through all the protocols and with my head and da da da, and of course I called my senior, right, because I was a junior resident, so I called my senior, ran it by them, and they say, okay, this is what you do. But I'm going to tell y'all that whole time, right, my heart is going and it's pumping. Now, over the course of that year, I became more comfortable with those calls. And then, of course, the next year, I'm the senior, right? I become the senior because now I've gone through and, learned a lot of that stuff. So I become the senior. And when my junior resident calls me for the same thing that I called my senior for the year before, it's not as big a deal. But those times of going through and learning. So fear, y'all, is a big deal. Fear can be debilitating. Fear can be one of those things that hinders us from doing all the things that we want to do in our lives. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that as we get into the show. Just want to give a shout out to Florence. Hey, Florence, thank you for stopping by and hanging out with. Florence says, good evening, Dr. Woods. So glad that you are here. So if you guys are out there, go ahead and put in the comments that you're here. Say, hey, right? And here's the question. Here's the first question for you, right? It's a yes or no. Have you ever been afraid? That's it. Have you ever been afraid? So fear is a natural. If you've been afraid, go ahead and put that in the comments. Put yes, by the way. Yeah, put that yes. So fear is a natural and normal human emotion that is designed to protect us from danger. It's an emotion. It's a response to a perceived threat. Now, this is whether the threat is real or not, right? So obviously, if you are out there and you run into a tiger, right, that is a real threat. Or if you're at the edge of a cliff, you're in a car and you're driving and you can't stop the car and the car is going towards the cliff, that is a real threat. So our bodies, our minds produce that fear response so that we can deal with that situation. That's a real threat. Now, because of the way we live, because of our lives right now, we find ourselves in situations that are not real threats, but we behave as though they're real threats. Right? So, an example, you get into an argument with a friend, and the friend says, okay, I don't want to be your friend anymore, and they leave. Now, that is not a real threat. And when I say real threat, it doesn't produce physical danger. But guess what? Our body will see that, and it will perceive that as a threat. That distance, that break in the relationship, that separation, that isolation, it'll see that as a threat, and you will have the same kind of response as if you saw the tiger, right? So that's what the body does. And this is because of a part of our brain called the amygdala. The amygdala is right at the brainstem, two kind of almond-shaped structures. This is called the primitive brain or the lizard brain. You'll hear some people talk about it as, right? And it's commonly thought of as the place where emotions are regulated, and it helps us to experience those emotions. And it also is the core system for processing fearful and threatening stimuli. It's designed to protect us, the amygdala. Everybody say amygdala. If I were in class, I would have you say amygdala. Amygdala. Right, so that's where that stuff happens. So our lizard brain is always looking for stuff to protect, right? And so fear can manifest in our lives in many different ways. So physically, emotionally, in terms of our thoughts, and in terms of our behaviors. Right? So fear can go in all those places. So physically, when fear manifests itself, it can include things like I mentioned, right? So rapid heartbeat, we sweat, we swallow a lot, our mouth gets dry, we start to tremble, we feel hot or cold. So those are the body's way of preparing us, by the way, for what we call the fight or flight response. Actually, it's fight, flight, or freeze. I need to get them to change that. So it's fight, flight, or freeze. And this is triggering the release of hormones in the body. So when we feel fear, it's not just, oh, I'm afraid. There are physical things that are going on. Right? Let's use that tiger, for example. So you see the tiger, so your eye sends a signal to the brain. The amygdala says, hey, we're afraid. And it sends signals to the adrenals. And the adrenals begin putting out cortisol and adrenaline. And those hormones have the effect of going to find energy for us to deal with that situation, right? Because we got to start running or we become tiger food, right? Hey, Jeff, what's up, man? Hey, I didn't see you down there. What's going on? Jeff says, absolutely. I think he's answering the question of have you ever felt fear? And of course, Florence says, yes. She said, I felt fear before. Yep. Okay. So those are physical manifestations of fear, right? Sweating, shallow breathing, trembling, feeling hot or cold. Physical manifestations. Well, what about our thoughts? Okay. So fear can have an influence on that. We can have thoughts of potentially negative outcomes, catastrophizing, or anticipation. Right? It's kind of like there's this book called Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers. Why zebras don't get ulcers. And zebras don't get ulcers because either if they're being chased, they are lion food because the lion caught them, or they got away and they stopped thinking about the lion. Right? Because they're gone. They're away. But not us as humans, right? So if we were lions, if we were the zebra, we'd be thinking, hey, wait a minute. Hey, that tiger chased me right around here yesterday. I wonder if he's still around. Yeah, better be careful around here. You know, my cousin Joe was around here when he got eaten by that tiger. Yeah. So what are we doing? right? Those thoughts are there. And those, if they become chronic, they can move into anxiety and a state of kind of chronic fear. So those are thoughts. That's what happens when we think. And how about our behavior? Because remember, our behavior follows our thoughts. We did a show a couple weeks ago called talking about the model, right? So an event happens, and our thoughts about the event gives us our emotions. Our emotions dictate how we behave, and how we behave dictates the outcome. So our behavior, the manifestation of our fear in our behavior, can include things like avoidance, right? When we try to escape or avoid the source of the fear, or over preparation, which we're like, okay, we got to make sure everything is just in, right? Perfect. That's where we get obsessive, the obsessive planning, right? To reduce the risk of something bad happening. So remember, event happens, our thoughts dictate our feelings dictate our behavior dictate our result. If that makes sense, say yes, yes in the comments. Yes, yes. So there are some common fears. Now, well, first let me say this. So there are some phobias, right? So we're not going to necessarily talk about phobias today. So phobias are like fear of water, or agoraphobia, which is the fear of going outside, of open spaces, right? Arachnophobia, fear of things with legs. Or not things with legs, there's spiders. Yeah, let me just say that, okay? So we're not going to talk about phobias, because phobias are a specific type of fear that people have. And let me hasten to say that a lot of the fears that we have come from history, from our past. You remember last week I told the story of being on the raft while we were whitewater rafting and falling out and holding on to the raft because that's what I was told to do. That's what I thought I had to do. And even though the raft was on top of me, I was under the raft, I couldn't breathe, I refused to let go of the raft. But it wasn't until I let go, when I released it, that things started happening to me in a positive direction. I let go, so the raft moved. It was me now, and I was in the water. The rapids took me, and it was then that I started making progress. But as long as I was holding on to the raft, under the raft, can't breathe, nothing was happening. And so over the next few weeks, we're going to talk about letting go. What do we need to let go? Last week, we talked about letting go of the past. Today, we're talking about letting go of fear. Letting go of fear. So fear, there are some common fears. We're going to run through those here really quickly. What do you think, put it in the comment, what do you think is the most common fear? What do you think is the most common fear? All right, put that in there. Okay. So let's run through these, right? So I'm going to give you the list and then we're going to go through. So fear of failure. Oh, we'll do them one at a time. Fear of failure. Fear of failure. So many people fear failure because they worry about the negative consequences of not succeeding. Right? The negative consequences of not succeeding. So they worry about disappointment for themselves and for their family or for their friends. They worry about shame. I'm going to be embarrassed if I don't succeed, if I try it. They worry about the loss of status or respect. If I don't succeed, if I try something and I fail, people are going to look at me. They won't think as highly of me anymore. I'm going to be demoted. I'm going to lose my job. So fear of loss of status, fear of loss of respect. So that is a real fear. And so because of that, this fear holds them back. When we talk about fight or flight or freeze, this fear holds them back from taking risks, even risks that are beneficial, that are likely to succeed. It stops them from pursuing their goals, and it leads to missed opportunities and limited life experience. Because if you're afraid, you're not going to travel. You're not getting on a boat. You're not going on a cruise. You're not getting on an airline. You're not going to go to a different country. You're not going to go to a different society. You're not going to go to a different state. You're not going to go to something new. You're not going to try something new. You're not going to try some new food. You're not going to make a friend. You're not going to try a new club. You're not going to try a new movie. And we're going to see that come back again in one of these others that we're going to talk about here in a minute. So fear of failure, fear of failure. And then some people are afraid of rejection. So fear of rejection. And this can stem from, once again, we're talking about the past, right? So experiences that they've had, social anxiety, low self-esteem, right? Because we're designed for community. And when there is when there's a possibility that that community will reject us, or that we will be aside from, we will be taken apart from the community. Kind of like the example I gave with the friend, where the person said, hey, I don't want to be your friend anymore. So that causes a big deal because we don't like to be apart. So people, in this case, they're hesitant to express themselves. They're hesitant to speak up. They're hesitant to ask for what they want. So they're in relationships. They're in positions. They're in society. They're in jobs where they're not getting the things they want, and because they don't want to be rejected, they don't want to create an environment where someone may say, hey, well, we don't like that, so you get out of here. So this leads to misconnections and opportunities. Yeah, so fear of rejection. How about the fear of the unknown? This is a big one, right? Because there is so much that we don't know, y'all. So much that we don't know. And so if you are one who has fear of the unknown, then you're living a life kind of in a paper bag, right? And you're afraid to hit the sides of the bag because you don't know what's out there. Not realizing the wealth and the richness that is around you. So when the situation is unpredictable or uncertain, these people, they have the fear. We're not doing that. All right. So that's the fear of the unknown. And then fear of change. People who like fear of change, they like consistency. They resist new opportunities and experiences. Like I was just saying before, they are content to be right here because they're afraid that things are going to change. And what do you think this has to do with? It has to do with control. Because they can't control things if it's changing. They've already come up with their routine. They like the way it is right now. And by God, we're going to stay like this. And so they hold back from pursuing their dreams or making positive changes in their lives because they're comfortable. They resist new experiences. Because I can do this right now. I can do this right here. I'm comfortable in these walls, around this neighborhood, in this house, in this city, on this job, in this relationship. And I don't want it to change. And then there's the fear of success, believe it or not. There are people who fear success. It's less common, but it's still significant. And it can stem from a variety of things, such as fear of responsibility, a fear of change, fear of doubt. Am I going to be able to do it? So every time there is a potential of success, they almost sabotage themselves. Because there's more responsibility. People are looking at you now. And they don't want that. They worry about the added pressure that comes and the responsibility that comes with their success. So those are some common fears. All right. Now, here's the interesting thing. So fear is this natural emotion, right? And it is constantly with us, or can be constantly with us. Fear, the same hormones, the same processes that go on in our body are the same things that happen when we get excited. Right? So when you get excited about something, I'm trying to think of something, right? If you get excited about something, your body goes through the same process. Your brain sees it, or your eye sees it, sends it to the brain. You have some emotion that's processed through the amygdala, right? Because same spot. And the amygdala sends a signal down to the adrenals about excitement. So your heart rate goes up. You start to breathe faster. You get some adrenaline coming out. You get some cortisol coming out. Because it's exciting. And sometimes we feel that. And we think, oh my God. Yeah. I'm afraid. Sometimes it's not afraid. It's just anticipation. Because the body's preparing you to do whatever that thing is. And we're going to come back to that here in a minute. So everything that you read, right? Well, I shouldn't say everything. A lot of things that you read will tell you that in order to overcome fear, you got to suppress it. You got to just get over it. You got to push it down. You got to fight it. And I want to give you a different thought. Instead of fighting it and repressing it and trying to forget it, how about if we harness it? Now, the marketing industry has harnessed our fear, haven't they? Yes. They have given us some fears. Here's one, the fear of missing out. Fear of missing out. Right? Hey, have you ever seen those signs? Hey, 50% off until Friday. And today's Thursday. So what do we say? Fear of missing out, right? They've created in us that anxiety that, oh, I got to get it because if I don't get it, then it's gone tomorrow. Fear of missing out. How about this one? Fear of being excluded. Everybody's using it. If you want to be like everybody, you got to get this product. You may not even need it, but hey, everybody on your block has it. When you go to church, everybody's using it. It's the new thing. It's the best thing. That fear of being excluded. How about this one? The fear of not improving. What does that look like? Well, you know, if you get this product, you're going to look like this right here. And if you don't get it, I don't know what you're going to look like. Right? So why do you think? For instance, I'm gonna say it anyway. So you go to a car show, or you go to a show about anything where they're selling something, and next to the car is a woman in a bikini, and you look around, you're like, where's the sand? Where's the ocean? Where is the beach? There's no beach. But if you buy that thing, if you buy that car, maybe she comes with the car. Right? So advertising. So they've harnessed our fear. So how about we harness our fear for the better? Why is it important to do this? It's important to do this because unless we can overcome our fear, unless we can let go of the fear, then we're stuck. Right? Breaking free, letting go of fear to live your best life. And as I said last week, when we talked about letting go of the past, you may be successful. You may be living well. You may be interacting. You may be, in your place. But how much better can you be if we let go of these things that are potentially dragging us? They may not have stopped us, but they're dragging. They're behind us. So how do we let go? How do we break free of fear so that we can live our best life? So I'm not going to tell you to repress it. I don't want you to try to forget it. Because you're not going to be successful. Because it's there. And there are going to be more things that come that may bring fear with them. So the first thing is you've got to acknowledge fear. Now, I know some of you out there say, I'm not afraid. Yes, you are. You're afraid of something. You got to acknowledge that fear is there. Acknowledge that it is a normal process. My son, one of the things that we have taught him and been teaching him and continue to instill in him is that being afraid does not make you less of a person. Being afraid doesn't mean that you can't still do the thing that's causing fear or face that thing that's causing fear. But that takes acknowledging the fear that it's there. And sometimes there is a kind of self-incrimination. We think that we're a bad person because we feel fear. Right? There's shame. Oh, I shouldn't be afraid. Why not? Why shouldn't you be afraid? So acknowledge the fear. Yes, I'm afraid of being alone. Yes, I'm afraid of not being successful. Yes, I'm afraid of being successful. Yes, I'm afraid of change and success. I'm afraid of missing out. I'm afraid of failure. All those things, I am afraid of that. Number 2, realize where the fear comes from. And what is the source? Realize where it comes from and what is the source. this takes facing the fear. So we've acknowledged that it's there. We've acknowledged that there's something in us. And now, okay, where does that come from? Does that come from something that's happened to me in the past? Is it just my anxiety, my anticipation? Is it a part of just how I perceive things? Did someone say something to me? Did I see an example of this? Where does that come from? Did I just make it up? Acknowledge it. Realize where it comes from. And then be in tune with yourself. Where do you feel it? Where do you feel it in your body? All right? Because we can tell. All right, when that fear comes, okay, my breathing starts going faster. Or my heart rate is going up. Or I feel tense in my muscles. My stomach starts to churn. Identify physically where that fear is manifesting itself. And then we try to, right, adjust that. So if you're tense, maybe you need a massage. Change your position. Right? Think about your breathing. And start working on that. Because sometimes if we can change where we're feeling it, the feeling, right, that fear doesn't have as big a grip. Now we're talking about letting go of fear, letting go of fear. We're acknowledging it. We're realizing where it comes from. We're in tune with ourselves, with our body. Where do I feel it? And tell ourselves, that's the next one, that the body is preparing us for success. Now, this is not if you're, at the edge of a cliff or, running from a lion. This is, right? So our body is preparing us for success. And then spend time thinking through the various fears. Think about yourself. Think about your life. Think about the things that you want to do that you aren't doing. What is causing you not to do those? And begin processing those now so that when you're in the moment, you are aware. You're aware of where it came from, what fear there already is, and you're more likely to be able to handle it. So notice I did not say suppress. I did not say repress. I didn't say forget, stuff down, avoid. And then what does letting go really mean? So these are the steps. Well, what does that really mean? Letting go does not mean we're forgetting once again. It doesn't mean that we're stuffing it down. Letting go simply means that we're not holding on to that thing so tightly, like, oh my God, I can't ever do that because I'm afraid I'm going to fail. Right? We're releasing. We're not trying to control the fear. We're releasing it. And we're harnessing those hormones, that adrenaline, that cortisol that's coming. Because you know what that stuff makes us do? It gives us energy, y'all. That's what it's designed to do. When you're running from the tiger or the lion, it is the energy producer. That's where we get our energy from. Can you imagine what happens when we now harness those hormones and those emotions? When we realize, yeah, this thing is here to help me. The power and the energy that we have. So fear is a complex set of emotions or complex emotion, and it can manifest in lots of different ways. If we're going to be successful, we got to let go. How do we let go? We acknowledge the fear. We realize where it comes from and what the source is. We're in tune with our body so that we know where it's manifesting itself. We tell ourselves that fear is here to help us get prepared for success. And then we spend time thinking through prior to being in the throes of fear. And then we release. Not suppress, not repress, not forget, not stuff down. We face it. And we deal with it. If we're going to achieve our goals, then we've got to be able to deal with the fear. If that makes sense out there, if you're out there, say yes, 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 yes. All right, yes, yes, if that makes sense to you. I'm going to do our thought of the day here in a minute. I'm going to use that as the close for this part of it. We are talking about the things that you got to let go if you're going to be successful. Last week we talked about letting go of the past. This week we talked about letting go of fear. We'll come back again, and we've got 2 or 3 more of these things that we're going to do in terms of letting go. If you think this, if you like this kind of discussion, right? This building, improving, mindset change, right? I want you to drop me a note. Say yes. Well, you can say yes, yes. Say mindset. If you like this, say mindset in the chat, right? So I'll know that you like this kind of stuff. So this one, the fear, right? I'm going to have an ebook that's going to come out with the fear, letting go. This idea of letting go, where we deal with several of these concepts. So we'll make those available. If you think that's a good idea, say book also. So if you like the idea of mindset, put mindset. If you like the idea of the book, put book. Okay, they're not mutually exclusive, so you can put both in there. Okay, and this is actually a perfect time for us to do our thought of the day. So let's go ahead and do that right now. All right, and our thought of the day is this. And I heard this recently, that all of your successes, every opportunity, every growth, every item that you want to do is on the other side of fear. I love that. So everything that you want to do is on the other side of fear, y'all. On this side, there's the fear of the unknown. There's the fear of success. There's the fear of failure. There's the fear of not belonging. But on the other side of fear, there's the relationship that's rebuilt. On the other side of fear, there's the book, there is the business, there is the podcast, on the other side of fear. And if we stay on this side, we never know what it's like to be on the other side. We never know what we could do. We never know what could have happened. We never know the success that we could have had on this side. But everything that we want is on the other side of fear. And so letting go of fear is a step in getting us to the place that we want to be. Right? So breaking free and letting go of fear to live our best life. The thing that holds most people back is fear. Yeah. 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 So my challenge to you is to go back, acknowledge that fear is there. Right? Acknowledge that it's there. Think about all the things that we've talked about. Realize where it came from. Be in tune with your body. Tell yourself that it's preparing you for success. Spend time thinking through the various fears that you may have in your life, and then release, let go, so that you can live your best life. And that is our thought for today. All right. Yeah, yes. I love this discussion. I see Florence says mindset. Yeah, she says she likes this kind of information. Once again, if you've not done so, please get over to our YouTube channel, get over to our website, get over to our podcast, all the things that we've done, y'all. I just want you to get out there and take a look at them. If you know people who've not kind of information. Okay. Once again, if you've not done so, there you go. I was trying to pull up my phone. Let me do that here real quick. Let's see. How do we get it? There we go. Yes, if you've not already done so, get over to our YouTube channel and peruse, look through the videos that we've had. 389 videos, I think is what it says there, and we are 998, y'all. So 2 people away from breaking or getting to 1,000. So if you got some family, some friends out there that you know that needs to know some of this information, that needs to be part of this community, we'd love for you to get them to be part of it, and also get over to our website. That's Dwayne Wood MD. Let's see if I can get that out here really quickly. So Dwayne Wood MD is where we are, Dwayne Wood MD, and on the channel or on the website, you will see. You'll be able to get to our podcast. You'll be able to get to our blog. So let's pop that. Let's see. There we go. All right. So Dwayne Wood MD. Like I said, you'll be able to get to our podcast. We've got a growing list of you'll be able to see or get the audio, the edited version of what we do here on the channel. What I meant to say was our blog. If you get over to our blog, we've got a growing list of blog topics that you can see everything. We got diabetes, general health, heart disease, journaling, going to the next level of personal growth. If you are interested in working with me personally, you can do that as well at our part of our coaching program, Coaching Beyond the Disease. And then our subscription service is Ready, Set, Grow. This is a place where you can begin working on getting unstuck. Are you feeling stuck in your life, unsure of how to move forward? Ready, Set, Grow with Dr. Wood, that's me, is here to help. By taking charge of your life, you'll experience a wide range of benefits, including increased confidence and self-esteem, greater clarity and focus on your goals and priorities, improved relationships with others, including family, friends, and coworkers, more energy and motivation to pursue your passions and interests, enhanced physical and emotional well-being, greater financial stability and abundance, improved performance and success in your career and business, and deeper spiritual connection and fulfillment. When you take charge of your life, you will no longer feel like a passenger in your journey. Instead, you'll be the driver, making intentional choice that aligns with your values and aspirations. You'll be able to overcome challenges, obstacles with greater ease and resilience, and be more open to opportunities and experiences that bring you joy and fulfillment to your life. So join our group today and stay and start experiencing the many benefits of taking charge of your life. So that is our Ready, Set, Grow program that we have. So get over there, and we'd love to have you to be a part of that. Well, y'all, hey. Like I said, I'm always excited when you come through, right? So Jeff, thank you for being here. Florence, thank you for being here. And all of you, I see some other folks out there. I know sometimes people watch and they don't like to comment, but we are glad that you are here. Give us a thumbs up for this video if you like what we've been discussing. And come on back, because we're talking about letting go, y'all. If you've not done so, go back and listen to the one from last week. That was a fun one. And we'll come back next week and we will talk more about letting go so that we can begin experiencing and begin going to the next level. Thank you for being here. This is Dr. Dwayne Wood. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here on the channel, I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, and go to the next level and connecting with us. Thank you. Good night. We'll see you next week.